Got a Twosun. Man, you know I like my Twosuns. I just like them. Like they don't contract me out. I buy these things, man. I dig them. This one's a pretty good spinner too. You know, there's something about a spinner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's get it out of this box. Feels kind of big. All right, new model Twosun. Lots of titanium, some G10. Have no idea what the model number is. But got my trusty little Echo with my new scales. I die ground them and pretty happy with the new version of my Echo scales. Come on, man. Nobody wants to see you fumbling around with plastic on a knife. Especially me. There we go. Destroy the outer dry bag and salvage the inner oily bag. Yep, that's how we do it. This is what we do here. Get rid of this box. Get rid of the CJRB. And let's get a towel involved. I mean, man, first glance, I'm digging it. I have some criticism for it already, though. I know. There's just, man, you got as many Twosuns as me, you start to pick up on certain little things that you wish they would move on from. And we'll get into it. All right, let's get in it. I'm going to use thumb stud first versus that front flipper. Let's just see how we get out. Oh, come on. Wow. Wowzy, wowzy, wow. Look at this blade, man. And I think it's in 14C28N. Yeah, it's a ts479 night morning design in 14C28N. I don't know if you can see here, but we've got little weepy oil things, which means 100% these G10 inserts. See, it's weeping here. These inserts got to come out. You know, without a doubt they have to because there's oil behind them. But let's run this knife a little bit. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Got to stay off of that lock. And, of course, reaching up there makes me want to get my fingers on the lock like that. But it's just conscious. You know, it's muscle memory. You just got to get used to not doing it, be thinking about it, get up on the pocket clip, and it runs perfect. Yep. It's got great jimping. That flipper jimping. Look, it's got two lines of jimping here and then here, and the jimping here goes all the way up and over. Very nice. Spidey flick. Thumb flick. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's get in it. I'm not going to check where our detent is because I think the knife's been tuned wonderfully and it's in excellent shape. I'm not looking to change any of that. Yep, I just want to wipe it down. You know what? I'm going to check that pocket clip. Like, I know I'm going backwards, but it's easier to go backwards from here. Well, yeah, especially because that pocket clip mounts from the inside. So I want to run it before I take the knife apart. Yep. It's one of those things that, you know, checking it now makes way more sense than taking the knife apart, putting it back together, and then checking the pocket clip at the end. And we had a viewer email me and point that out to me, and it's just brilliant. You know, you get in a habit of doing something that you don't even notice how, you know, silly something can be because you're just in it, you know what I mean? But yeah, pocket clip check makes sense way before I disassemble the knife. Now that is wonderful. Look at the lines in the clip. You know, just maybe a ½ inch poking out there. Very nice. And excellent tension. unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be near enough on standard jean thickness material. Yeah, it's just going to fall right out of there, which means, of course, my back pocket, same way. And where's that relevant? Well, let's say I had to run, and I'm running and, my butt's flopping around and this knife is taking a beating. I mean, literally, with the tension on this clip, that knife could fly right out of my pocket, not be there if I needed it. Now, it got hung up on that seam right there, but yeah, it doesn't have near enough tension for standard jean size material. Very light tension. So I'll tune that up when we take it apart. Put a little tension on this clip. Not a big deal. Definitely makes sense to do it now or in that order. I just got to get in the habit. Now we can take it apart. Oh, man. Initial impressions. Whew. I like it. I love this blade shape, man. Whew. It's kind of, hey, is that not similar to does that not remind you of a bag knife? Sorta? Sorta, kinda? I think so. Let's get the pocket clip off while we're here. The other thing is the clip's got to come off because these scales got to come off. Or not scales, but the little G10 insert. Yeah, they got to go because 100,000,000% they are oil soaked underneath there. And the oil's got them sucked down on there. There it comes. Yep, look at all that oil in there. We want to get that out. Beautiful 14C stonewash blade. Yeah, internal stop pin. Nice. I think pivot's captured down here in this bottom scale. Yep. And get the final components. I guarantee you it's full of oil even under this backspacer, and it is. Yeah. That oil is everywhere. All right. There we go. Yeah, just coated. All right. Well, towel time. Tim's towel time. Come on. There's a similar reference right there. Not Tim's towel time, but see if somebody mentions it below. Nice. And I think this model comes in a couple of different versions. And I think I might even have another version of this knife come in that does not have the G10 inserts. It's raw titanium, but it's slotted. Yeah, like it's slotted here. I think I do. I have one something like that come in. I think it's the same knife. Heck, for all I know, it's here somewhere. It's just sitting right next to me on a bench. Let's I'm gonna put a little tension on this if I can. Oh yeah. That should make all the difference in the world. Yep. See it rock? Got a little bit of bow on it. That'll create that tension necessary to secure it in the pocket. I do like these new collars that they flattened them. They're not all humped over like the old style. I like that flat. You tell me why. I don't know why. And I think they're titanium. Yeah. Titanium collars. I have a few 2 rows of Twosun videos. This knife won't be in a 2 row of Twosun video. It's too new. So the newer versions that have more current check-in videos are not featured in 2 rows of Twosuns because I'd never get done, right, with that 2 rows of Twosuns. And so I am very close to putting those last 2 row of Twosun videos in the can and being completed. And once done, I am going to make a project out of getting all of the Twosuns cased based on TS number. From, like case 1 will go from the oldest TS or the smallest number. Doesn't necessarily mean it's older because they've gone back and used some of the numbers that weren't used before. And so you can have a newer model that has a small TS number. Now, I don't know how much they're doing that right now, but they've done it. So, but it will go from the smallest TS number, finish filling that case, and then the next case will start. And, and so I'll have them very organized by case. And where's that critical? Where that's critical is then I can very easily go to a case and find a knife. Where right now, I literally end up like I have some kind of memory, like, oh, I saw that knife. I think it's with these knives, but I still have to, basically, I can go through 4 or 5 cases of knives to find a knife. Well, that's going to be a huge bonus to be able to just go to a particular case and pull out a particular knife. Well, what that's going to lead to is I'm going to be able to do my top 10, my top 5, my top 10, my top budget pieces, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. A lot of people have asked me, hey man, out of all these Twosuns, which ones are your most favorite? Well, I've committed to not doing that video until I get them cases organized, because then I can easily, because it's not going to be from one number to the next. It's going to be 17 and 58, and so having all these knives organized is going to help me tremendously to do that kind of stuff. And then I'm kind of thinking futuristic, but once I accomplish some of that, I think I might look to purge the collection. Yeah. Move on to other things, man. Will I stop collecting Twosuns? I mean, so that kind of ties in. Will I stop, following them and purchasing new models and adding them to? I don't think I will. I think I'll still, they drop a new model, I think I'll get it. But I think then if I purge the collection, it'll be more driven by a knife that I truly want. Maybe carry in my pocket, that kind of thing. Where now, a model drops and I'm just looking to add it because I'm, collecting. So yeah, all that's kind of hovering out there in my future, right? I want to put a little bit on this detent track right here. Just a little drop. There we go. All right. Yeah, so Twosun update, man. But I have the last case all figured out. I just have to film it. Man, this one. This might be one that I would buy a version of this again. it's only in 14C, and it's got these G10 inserts, but I think it's hitting way above. So the pocket clip is recessed only into the G10, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's got four. Ah, come on, man. What's the matter with you, bro? Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of that because there's so much tension that gets put on that pocket clip with the fingers opening and closing a knife. Like, inevitably, we rest our fingers on them and we put a lot of side to side tension up and down like this. Well, it's easy to waller out that hole. Now, if the screw stays tight, the chances of that happening are pretty slim. And so that's the key, is to have straight lines and then a really tight screw. And it's got to stay tight. If it comes loose or you feel any wiggle in this at all, man, you got to take the time, take it apart, and get this screw tight. Because if it comes loose, it could handle it. Could waller that out. And then once that happens, I'm not sure what the fix is. You could use epoxy or something. I don't know. But none of it is what I'd want to do. Works well. Maybe I'm over tight. Let me check. Nah, I think that's about right. Oh yeah. Yep. All right. Well, man, let's mess with this action. All that oil's gone. I'll cover that in ergonomics. Let me come back to that. But so I'm gonna pick on this in the action part. I'm not a fan of these big thumb studs, man. Look at these things. They're gargantuan, and they could be 2 millimeters smaller. Easily just tuck that bottom milling that's smooth down there. Just cut that right off and shorten that thumb stud because it's sticking way over the scales. Not a big fan of that. I have seen where you would think put that in pocket, it's going to poke you and stuff, but I've put them in pocket, and in the end they kind of disappear. But it's time to stop using these big thumb studs. There's no need. Do they function? They do. And it could just simply be it's one of those things that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If they work, use them, and they definitely qualify for that. The Spidey flick, it's easy to grab them. The thumb flick, I mean, it's intuitive. You just get on it and throw, right? Wonderful. What about that front flipper? Yeah, it works. Just got to stay off of the lock, right? Get back there on the pocket clip, and then this thing, it'll run all day long. Basically, drop shut now. Centered blade. I mean, it's A-level action. It's not. I'm not going to go A plus just because I'm not wowed, but it's A level. It's not lowered here, but they're scalloping on both sides here of the frame, and so it's easy to get in there. It's a light push to get that out of the way. Really nice locked up. Yeah, I mean, it's just good. I mean, I'm giving it better than an A minus. It's A level action. It's just good for what it is. Let's talk about ergonomics. So first off, all of this milling around the edge is noticeable. You can feel it all, and it provides grip. And then the G10 is very grippy. It's been milled wonderfully, and it's nice. Even the lines in the pocket clip provide extra grip. Wonderful jimping on the spine, way out here and in here. It's, man, it's knocked down really nice. The shape, two fingers lock in here, these two fingers lock in there. It's really good. There's no finger guard, so not so confident, confident, very confident. I mean, I'm going to come up short of a confident grip. I don't know that I could come forward here, meet resistance, and then avoid coming up and over that blade. But if I was here, I definitely could, because it is built wonderfully to cap that with the thumb. And then this becomes a confident grip. And then doubly here. This grip right here, I mean, it is powerful. I'm locked in here better than any grip on the knife. I am super locked in, and I'm confident that I could jam down with this and not ride up over that with a fair amount of force. Now, without a finger guard, I don't want to go crazy, right? Like, because that thumb's only so strong. Yeah, wonderful ergonomics. This thing, I like it. I like it a lot. Very cool. Let's check pocket clip. Now that we've added some tension, we already know it was pretty good on the thick stuff. Let's just go straight to the jean material. And yeah, it's much better now. I couldn't shake that out of that pocket now. And my spot in the back, yeah, it's, boy, I'm tempted to call it a dryer clip. And of course, what that means is, caught a thread there. What that means is I could put this in this pocket and throw these in the dryer like that, and 30 minutes later take these out, and that knife would still be there. Yeah, if it's not a dryer clip, it's very close to it, so very nice. What about blade contact? Yeah, none there, and the tip is recessed, so the clip is awesome, the tip is good, and I am confident that as long as this knife is closed, and it's got great T-dent on the bottom. Look at that. Just, you hear it click in all by itself. Wonderful. I'm confident that I can manhandle this knife any way I want, and I'm not going to touch the sharp parts. Look at this lanyard. I mean, could that be positioned any better for a lanyard on a knife? I mean, almost make me want to put a lanyard on that. That's very nice. Speaking of sharp parts, come on, man. Don't let the blade let me down. Yeah. Super sharp. Wonderful. Look at this little swedge built in here. They've swedged the tip, made it more streamlined, but left the thickness back here versus making the whole thing the whole thing the whole thing thin. They left the thickness and the stability, the girth of the knife all the way up to right here, and then they thinned that off, gave it a thinner profile. I mean, listen, man, I'm telling you, I like this one a lot. Let's talk about price and availability. Yeah, so these are kind of interesting, but the prices seem to be settling in on this ts479 at around $65, $70. I mean, I'm seeing quite a few. Now, what I would say is that, man, anywhere from $75 to $80 would be more than reasonable for this piece. But I think if you're patient, you might be able to get a live auction one for, $60 to $70. White Mountain Knives sells it for $89 with the discount code DM10 in the coupon section. You can get it for $80, and that's no tax, free shipping. So by the time you pay tax, I mean, if you paid $70 for one on eBay and you had, let's say, 8% tax, that's another basically $6. So that puts you at $76. So for $4, you could have it in 3 to 5 days. You see what I'm saying? So there's an argument to go either way. Yeah, would I be upset if I paid $80 or $85 for this? I wouldn't. Yeah, this is this is a really cool knife, and I like it a lot. Now, I'm positive I have the other version coming in. It doesn't have any G10. It just had some windows cut in this section here. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to be different other than that part, but it looks to be running about $10 to $20 more. It's a little, for some reason, it's more desirable, but the grip afforded on this one, I mean, this thing is wonderful in hand, man. It is a really cool piece. So I appreciate sharing it with you and having you watch.